This is the wrong move.
Some dramatic new testimony to tell you about right now. In the Oscar Pistorius murder trial, a neighbor testifying she heard, quote, terrified screaming on the morning Reva Steenkamp was shot to death. The neighbor saying she also heard a man screaming, followed by a series of gunshots and then silence. This new testimony comes amid reports the state could wrap up its case by calling Pistorius' own father as a witness for the prosecution. Dan Schorr is a former prosecutor who joins us. Jana Spilbor is a criminal defense attorney. Why, Jana, would they call his father the prosecution?
Yeah, the last person you want to have to call when you're prosecuting somebody is the defendant's mother or father, because if they can't say anything good about you, nobody can. But my guess would be they're trying to attack Pistorius's, not his credibility, but rather his character. They're trying to show that he's kind of this mean, rough and tumble guy who's always playing with guns and has a short fuse. That's the only reason I would suspect that they want to call the father.
Dan, if you were a prosecutor, why would you put a father on the stand?
Maybe he witnessed something before. Maybe he saw the interactions within the relationship. We saw testimony today that there were prior conflicts between Oscar Pistorius and Reva Steenkamp. We heard about text messages where Reva was saying that he was controlling and jealous and angry. Maybe the father saw some of this. We'll have to see as the testimony comes out.
So, Jana, you are of the opinion that the prosecution has not proved its case here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the prosecution is going to need some sort of Perry Mason moment in order to get a murder conviction. They just haven't shown that Oscar Pistorius was acting with a malice in his heart, or that he actually knew it was his girlfriend in that bathroom behind that shut door. They haven't gone there. The evidence doesn't support murder.
Dan, do you think they've built their case?
I do. They've certainly been sloppy at points, especially with the crime scene, but you have 4 shots into a locked bathroom door with his girlfriend inside. There's no reason for him not to have checked the bedroom to see if she was in there. Why do you fire into a bathroom 4 times unless you have the intent to kill? And there's no reason to believe that he thought it was an intruder, as he says, because we heard witnesses say there were screams from a woman before the shots. To me, it's an overwhelming case of murder here. It
was supposed to be over. I mean, they had scheduled this thing to be wrapped up by now. March 20th was the original end date. Now they say they're going to be going until the middle of May. Is that... I mean, sometimes less is more in the courtroom. Is there a possibility here that the prosecution is overplaying this case?
It could be. In fact, the prosecution was supposed to call over 100 witnesses and ended up calling just a fraction of those.
Well, because this thing has been moving at such a slow pace, that's why they're going to extend it until the middle of May.
But also, oddly, they're going to be taking a week-long break next month for some reason. I'm not sure why, and that's going to drag it out too. So the prosecution has, if they don't have some sort of substantial evidence before they arrest, which they're planning to do, I think, this week, maybe Pistorius' defense counsel can make a motion to dismiss. I don't know.
Dan?
You have him firing 4 times into a locked bathroom door with his girlfriend inside. No reason not to know she's inside. Hearing screams, the neighbors heard screams from her beforehand, and she was staying over. Why would he not think she's in the bathroom? Why would he think anyone else would be in there? And we have these text messages today that there was this controlling, jealous behavior on his part. I think it's a clear case of murder, even though the crime scene was bungled.
Right. She texted apparently to him that you know, she said, I was not flirting with my friend's husband. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's Exhibit A, isn't it? I mean, so many men get jealous when they see their girlfriend at a party and they think she's making eyes at some other guy.
Excellent point. And so many men don't then murder their girlfriend after that. So I think that's a very large leap to go from being a jealous boyfriend to being a murderer.
But it's almost testimony from beyond the grave, isn't it?
Right. It doesn't prove the intent to kill, but it's certainly relevant to the intent to kill, because it shows that he had this anger, this jealousy, that he was upset with her on many occasions, that she was complaining about it. She said he was, quote, picking on her. So it's part of the intent to kill, part of proving the intent to kill, and it's very powerful testimony.
The prosecution, I'm sorry, the defense has been trying to pick apart the stories of some of these prosecution witnesses, and some of them in fact have been forced to say, yes, I thought I saw a guy there, but in fact I didn't, or I thought I heard such and such a thing, but in fact it was the other way around. When you do that, there's no jury here, it's just the judge, but it does affect the credibility of these witnesses, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and that's the job, part of the job of the defense is to do that, and they are doing a good job at it, especially of this ear witness who testified that she heard a woman screaming as opposed to a man screaming, pardon me. So I think that her testimony is not the highlight that the prosecution wanted it to be.
At the same time, Dan, if you asked me to recount what I did this morning, I would have trouble getting the exact timeline straight.
And that's the problem with all witness testimony. Witnesses don't always remember things as well as they think. And you have to put it all together and see, is there any other reasonable conclusion other than that he intended to kill his girlfriend? And he did kill her, which the overwhelming weight of the evidence shows, I would say.
Well, a trial that was supposed to be over by now is going to go on for another 6 or 7 weeks, so we are told. Dan Schorr, Jonna Spilbor, thank you both.
Thank you.
Jenna.
Well, John, the long search for Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 may be one step closer to coming to an end. The latest sightings of what could be wreckage in the Indian Ocean.